art of gymnastics. Timeless, but ever-changing. The names of the artists will stay with us forever. Corbett, Sukahara, Comaneci. Now, new names are painting their own masterpieces. And today, we'll introduce you to the Gymnastics Art Gallery of the 90s. Known more for its chocolate than its acrobatics, Brussels, Belgium today plays host to the World Cup Gymnastics Championships. Hi everybody, I'm Rod Black. Welcome to Wide World of Sports. A little bit later today, we'll take you to Calgary, Alberta and Spruce Meadows for the Smirnoff Cup. But first things first, today it's the World Cup of Gymnastics, and joining us is Alfie Schlegel. Alfie, this is quite a competition.
This is an outstanding competition. We have the top 18 athletes on both the men's side and the women's side in the world. Basically, they've qualified, Rod, through a number of international events that have already taken place throughout the year, and each country that did qualify could send the athlete of their choice.
What's the difference between this competition and any other in the world?
Well, it's a unique competition because you're dealing with the absolute best, and these athletes have been Olympians, world champions, European champions. So really, you're dealing with some of the oldies on the team that are trying to lead their teams into the Barcelona Games, but then you have a crop of new life, young kids that are here basically for the experience to hopefully be on the same team for '92.
We will have the individual apparatus finals a little bit later today, but first things first, the all-around portion of the competition.
And what I've learned in gymnastics is you can definitely expect the unexpected. Anything can happen, and what's happened at this level of competition is a championship is won now, not because of a fall off an apparatus, but it comes down to a bent leg or an unpointed toe or a movement of the hand. So really, it's just the smallest error that will throw you out of the top spot.
Several interesting confrontations and stories in the all-around competition, and this is one of them. 21-year-old Valerie Belenki.
And Belenki was very sharp on this apparatus. Take a look at these strength elements. That move is called a Maltese. And then he moves into a third strength element, an L-cross. Rod, the trend on this apparatus has moved more towards showing strength elements, but the men are also required to do a number of swing elements as well. There's a swing up to handstand. And a really neat original skill right there. It's a double front summy between the rings. It's called a Yamawaki. And a full twisting double layout. You can see him fighting for the landing.
A 9.775 for Belenki. And speaking of fighting, here is a fellow, his teammate from the Soviet Union, who will have something to say, Vitaly Sherbo.
Now Sherbo's moving into the same type of element we watched his teammate perform, Belenki. And there's the iron cross, a very difficult strength skill. Now this is interesting, some unique movements he's doing with the rings, crossing the ring cables. Giant swing up to handstand, having a little bit of a problem keeping the rings very still. Second giant swing into his dismount, full twisting double layout, and that's what he's known for, those perfect landings.
18-year-old from Minsk in the Soviet Union, a 9.800 for Vitaly Sherbo.
And what's interesting is Sherbo has said himself that this is the one event that has caused him many problems in international competition. But in today's event, he looked to be very strong, putting in some very original moves and coming out with a pretty good routine.
And it will help him out in the all-around. Li Jing of China, 20 years old. And they say he could be the second coming of Li Ning, who was a triple gold medalist from China in 1984.
And what a wonderful opening, a back roll to an iron cross. This guy is very strong, and he's also very nice to watch on this apparatus. He has nice, clean, long lines. There's a big strength element, an inverted cross. Back giant swing up to handstand. He's having a lot of problems trying to keep those rings under control. There's his dismount, a double layout, not a very...
8 World's Fair, the all-around competition. This is China's Li Jing.
And take a look at this vault. It's called the Yurchenko. It was made famous by Natalia Yurchenko from the Soviet Union.
Li had a 9.75 on this vault.
What he's actually doing is a round off onto the board, and then he's doing a back handspring. He doesn't have a lot of room for error right here. You can see he has to keep his hands in fairly close. Nice laid out full twist position and just a little hop on his dismount.
And that dismount cost him because Vitaly Sherbo had a great vault here in the all-around. A 9.90 for this.
Now this was the same vault as Li Jing, but an extra twist. The Yurchenko double, by far one of the most difficult vaults that was performed at this competition.
Not only that, a much better landing.
A super landing. This is what Sherbo is known for, his perfect landings. Now he's getting a lot of speed down this runway to do the round-off approach onto the board. There's his back handspring. Look at the height and the distance he covers off the horse. That's 2 twists in the air, very difficult, and really fights for that landing.
The idea in the all-around, however, is point total and to stay close, and that was on the mind of Valerie Belenki.
A very difficult Kazamatsu double twist. Again, the same style of vault as Li Jing and Vitaly Sherbo, but this one isn't performed with a round-off entry. Belenki will actually just jump on the board, do a round-off onto the horse, and he too does 2 twists in the air. Very difficult vaulting, and not a bad landing.
9-7-7-5 for Belenki. Men, and once again, Vitaly Sherbo. We are at the parallel bars.
You know, Rod, the parallel bars have really changed on the world scene. They're doing a lot of moves that include underneath bar work, as performed right there, giant Diamondov. And they're also doing some pretty interesting skills above the bar. There's the second giant. Healy turn. Second Healy turn. He's very quick on this apparatus. The men are not allowed to have more than 3 stops on this event. Back toss, 1 small step. Now that was his downfall right there. In a pretty tough dismount, double pike, 1 small step on his landing.
But mistakes are so costly in the all-around competition, you can't afford it. You see his score, 9.600.
And that 1 small step right there after the back toss was at least a 1/10 or 2 of a deduction. He had a nice dismount, just a little short, and you cannot afford small steps like this.
Small steps like that, but this guy took some big steps. Li Jing.
Li is beautiful to watch on this apparatus. He has such nice lines. That's a beautiful giant to a Diamondov. He does a lot of underbar work. His form is impeccable. He has clean lines. Legs are glued together. There's a Healy turn. Into a second Healy turn. Into a third. Now take a look at this move. 1 3/4 front between the bars. Stutz to handstand. He's very tight. Good, tight double back and a perfect landing.
Li wasn't part of the 88 China Games team, but he will be in 92, you can rest assured. A score of 9.800.
And that was some of the originality I was talking about, the double front between the bars. Very difficult, not to mention very tough on the upper arms.
But who had the upper hand in this all-around? We will find out when we return to the World Cup after this. Brussels, Belgium site of the World Cup of Gymnastics. High bar in the finale of this all-around competition, which was held earlier today. We will get to the individual apparatus in a few moments. This is Li Jing.
Rod, this is by far one of the most spectacular events in gymnastics. I think people are amazed at some of the release skills that the men are performing on this apparatus, and you're in for quite a show with Li Jing.
Well, Li won 3 gold medals at the Asian Games a little while ago, including a gold on this apparatus.
Now, he's getting set early on for his first release skill. It's called a Gaylord. He performs it in a pike position, but he had a little bit of trouble here muscling up. But he's an experienced athlete. He was able to carry on. Comes a combination of skills. Reverse hecht to another release skill. That's called a Ginger. This is a great high bar routine. Getting set for a very difficult dismount. Double twisting, double layout.
And a 9.725 for the flying Chinese star Li Jing. This sets an interesting showdown between Vitaly Sherbo and Valerie Belenki for the all-around. I think Vitaly knows what he has to do here.
He's an outstanding high bars worker, and he has some incredible skills. He already performed a dynamite release skill, also a Gaylord, but in a tuck position. There's a one-arm to Tkachev. great form. He's getting set for his dismount, double twisting, double layout, and he takes a major hop on his landing.
And that could be a major mistake for Vitaly Sherbo. You see his score, 9.75.
The dismount, no question, a major mistake, but take a look at some of the interior work in his routine. Wonderful one-arm giant work right into a release skill called the Tkachev, and actually it increases the difficulty of that skill.
This now puts the pressure on and the ball in the court of Valery Belenki. Now, it was Belenki who lost to Sherbo, not only on the high bar, but in the all-around at the Goodwill Games. A chance for revenge.
There's no question Belenki can do it. He has the skills on this apparatus. He's already performed two very difficult release elements. Really, all he has to do is get set for a wonderful dismount, and I think he pretty much has wrapped it up. Good giant work. As I said, just a clean dismount, full twisting, double layout, wonderful landing.
And it is a good enough landing to land Valery Belenki the gold medal in the all-around 9.825. It is obvious. Watch out for the Soviet Union. Watch out for the Killer V's at the World Championships in Indianapolis. And, of course, next July in Barcelona. Belenki wins gold. Sherbo is second. Li Jing is third. Alfie, you thought that we forgot our Canadians. We haven't. They did very well in this competition.
They did an outstanding job. Curtis Hibbert and Leah Homa were our two representatives from Canada. And I think what these two athletes learned is what their weaknesses and their strengths are. And basically, they've seen the cream of the crop, and they know what they have to work on towards the Olympic Games.
All right, we're going to get to the individual apparatus finals in a moment. We're going to take you now.